I wanted to thank you for taking time to speak with me today.
Thank you.
I
Great
wanted to
talking to
ask.
you.
I wanted to ask about the witch hammer. What was the
Yeah.
process in getting it put together? How did all the pieces come together for you?
Well, it was a kind of a long process. I mean, it started with Matthias and Connie, the other guys in the band. They reached out to me, and I think in the end of 2022, and asked if I wanted to sing with them in this new band. And yeah, I said yeah. So the first month we wrote a lot of songs, and then we started to record it, and then we started to release single after single. As you may know, we've released quite a few singles, but that's also, I mean, the sign of the times. It's like it's what makes you stand out on Spotify, and the algorithms and all this. I mean,
Absolutely.
I grew up in the '80s listening to albums. So
Sure.
if I have a metal band released one single, it was quite unusual. So,
Yes.
but you had to follow the technology and the trends a little bit. So yeah. So anyway, so we just released the Witch Hammer, and yeah, we built it through these singles, and we had three previously unreleased tracks that we added to the album. So
I wanted to
the
ask you.
time.
I wanted to ask you if you could speak on my favorite track on the album, which is "Immortal."
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it was that was one of the early ones we wrote, and Matthias sent me the guitar riffs and the instrumentals, and he usually he leaves the lyrics all to me, like what do you hear in your head, what do you see before you. But in this particular case, he said something about he he had a dream where he could fly, where he was like he felt kind of immortal, and just a very powerful dream. I mean, like reaching your full potential as a person. So he gave me that snippet, and I was like, okay, and then I'll build on that.
Mhm.
So I started with that, and I had the title Immortal, and then I built the lyrics around that. So it grew to, I mean, it's a kind of a special song. Actually, in the beginning, we thought we were gonna name the album after that track. So in the beginning, the working name for the album was Immortal, but then I came up with this Under a Black Moon Sky, the Witch Hammer song, and it was even more like cinematic and powerful. So when we heard that one, it was like, oh, this we have to we have to have this one as the title. So
And my second favorite track on the album is "Venom." I wanted to ask if you could
ah,
speak on the track as well.
yeah, that's interesting. I think that was the first song we ever wrote together. If I remember correctly, I think the first thing they sent me, Matthias and Connie, because they are living in the same city called Hudiksvall, but that's like 3 or 4 hours drive from where I'm at, which is in Stockholm. So we in the beginning we did send a lot of materials to each other and back and forth, and they sent me this the instrumental backgrounds to what became Venom. So that was the first thing we did, and I don't even think they had heard me sing before. So when they got this back, it was like, wow, we really dig this. So we were on track with that one. But well, it's a little bit about, like, it's a pretty heavy subject, but about the evil deeds that is created and executed in the name of religion.
Mhm.
So I see myself as a pretty spiritual person, but but for me, spirituality has always been about lifting and helping others,
Sure.
spreading love, spreading good vibes. I mean, encouraging and strengthen other people. But if you look at history, I mean, religion has often been the opposite in a
Yes.
lot of cases. It's like you shall not, don't do this, don't do that, because then you're going to hell and get this punishment. He died for your sins, blah blah blah. I don't believe in that those things. So this
Sure.
is my this. So this is a like a kind of diss track to that part of religion. But otherwise, I believe. I mean, spirituality and belief and good deeds. I'm all for it. So
And we talked about early days. We're both guys of the 80s.
yeah.
What bands impacted you in the 80s movement?
Wow. It's oh yeah. It started with me discovering Kiss, and that was a like eye opener for me. It was actually Creatures of the Night, which I still to this day I think it's a phenomenal album.
Mm.
Um, and it opened my eyes and showed me hard rock and heavy metal, but it also showed me what you can do with your vocals. I mean, Paul Stanley in his prime for me was a big inspiration, and from there on I went to, I mean, all the 80s big bands. I mean, new wave of British heavy metal and Maiden and Priest and yeah, uh, all those bands. And then in the 90s I discovered a little heavier music. I tend to listen more to Pantera and Megadeth and Metallica and Slayer and bands like that. So but yeah, I still listen to all of those bands. So
Sure. And I wanted to ask you as well if you could speak on the album artwork and the artist that was involved.
yeah, yeah. um you mean for the cover, the album cover?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, the the artist is it's me. But it's I haven't painted it, but we work with AI technology, so we made it through a AI program. Um, so because um, up until now, or during um, this role, we've done this without a record company. So the budget is like we have no budget. So then we in the beginning when we started the band, we was like, okay, but this is going to be expensive. I mean,
Yeah.
we have to do videos, we have to do artwork. I mean, how can we do this in a smart way? And about that time, people started talking a lot about what AI could do for bands and stuff like that, and what you can do imagery wise. So then we just adopted it, and I was like, okay, I can, we split the things we do between the members in the band. We're only three guys, so I took my hand up and said, okay, I can check this out. And
Mm.
I didn't know how those things worked, but I learned. When you spend time on something, you learn.
Sure, absolutely.
So it has been very helpful for us. So so
And
I tend to see the images in my head, and then I tell the program to do it. So
yeah, it's an amazing thing now what
yeah,
technology can. It's almost
yeah,
scary
yeah, yeah,
from
yeah,
the things I see.
yeah, yeah. And I see other bands working with it as well. So
Sure.
mm.
What do you feel is the next step for the band?
um, we have we want to go out on the road and play live. So up until now, we have only been focusing on building a kind of a following or fans or listeners, and I mean just releasing songs so that we have something to to play. But
Sure.
I think people ask us, they want to see us live, and we want to play live. So that's very up high there on the to-do list. And actually, as we speak, we are contacting different booking agencies to see who's gonna help us with that. And we're also gonna produce a vinyl physical copy of the debut album, The Witch Hammer. So that is very high up there on the to-do list as well. So
And I wanted to ask you, how did the name for the band come to you?
yeah, that's quite a funny story because uh, we we asked ourselves, okay, what are we gonna what are the band gonna be called?
Mhm.
And someone gave a suggestion, some other member gave another suggestion, and I gave a suggestion, and then we started to write these down. And the thing is, it just continued, so we couldn't stop it almost. So we were like, when we were passing, I think 88 or 90 band name suggestions, we were like, oh no, stop. You know, as soon as someone gave another band name suggestion, we were like, no, 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 it's enough already. You know, we have these, we got to pick something from this. But I think we Black Moon June was just, I don't know. Sometimes you don't know where you get things from. I mean, everything almost is already invented, you know. Every song is written already, but yeah, you change the chorus and you don't know where you find the inspiration. But I think Black Moon, I think it's a tune by Black Sabbath. I could be wrong, but I think it is. And Black Sabbath is also one of our big influences. So I think that fits. And then we just added the word June because it rhymed. And, you know, I don't know. You have to have something also that people can remember and that is easy to find if
Sure.
you search for it. Because I was in a band called Locomotive, and I mean, that's a bummer. You Google Locomotive, and you get a lot of pictures of trains. so so I learned from that mistake.
And I wanted to ask you about your musical journey. At what age did you begin?
Yeah, I think I was like I was like 10 years old. Actually started to play drums. So I started as a drummer and played for like 7, 8 years or so, and then by chance I started to sing during a rehearsal because we didn't have a singer. So I just grabbed the mic and started to sing, and someone said, "Well, you have something. You got something there in your voice." I didn't sound like I sound today, but I mean there was something.
Hmm.
So we then I went from there, but it was like in my when I was 10 years old, something like that. Yeah.
Now, as a part of your journey, did you take vocal lessons as part of your journey?
Yeah, I did. I took singing vocal lessons for several years. I during one period I had Matti Alfonsetti from a band called Skin Trade as a teacher. I think he was in another band called Jagged Edge before. I don't know,
Hmm.
but he's a really good rock vocalist. So yeah, and some other guys as well taught me. But uh,
Along that path, what do you feel has been the best advice that has been given to you about doing vocals?
yeah, the best advice is actually I got from another singer called Janne Åström from Sweden, and he is actually one of the guest appearances on the album. He's doing a voice on the first track, the title track, Under a Black Moon Sky. He's like he has like a theatrical role, like playing a local commissioner or something, accusing the woman for being a witch. And he has a very powerful voice and a really good singer. So I think I was in my 20s when I approached him and said, uh, are you giving vocal lessons, singing lessons?" And he said, "No, I really don't." And I said, "Okay, that's too bad. But can you give me any tip,
Hmm.
just anything to bring home. And he said, well, in that case, I'll tell you to don't think too much, just sing. And back in the days, I was like, what? Was that for? Is that a tip? Like, don't think, just sing. I didn't get it quite back in the days, but now I really get it. So you can apply that on many things in your life, actually. If you just
Sure.
go with the flow, you get to some kind of energy that really takes you to good places. And so that's I think was the best tip for me.
And then getting back to the album, I wanted to ask you, we had in our discussion earlier, you said that you had put together a lot of tracks together. Is there
Yeah.
enough material for a second release?
Uh, well, yes and no. I mean, I think there is material, but it's not completed yet to just release on another album. But actually, we just started to write new songs for the next album. So I think we have got one or two or three songs that are soon going to be finished. So in time, we will, I believe, start to release new singles to from it's going to be part of the next album. So
And during our discussion, you had mentioned that you have spent a lot of time doing music. I wanted to flip a question for you and ask you if a new vocalist wanted to get into the business, what
yeah.
advice would you give to that person?
Hmm. Mm, I think I would give the advice to, sounds like a cliche, but to really try to just be yourself and find your own voice, like literally, but also like a metaphor. Like, I mean, there will always be people in the business that's gonna go, well, you sound quite like that band or that singer, and you should maybe you should sing a little bit more like this, because then you will have success. Or maybe you should do like that, or don't make the song such and such. But I
Mm.
think it's very, very crucial to just follow your gut feeling and your heart, and just and find your own voice, and also literally like find your own singing technique. I mean, you can be inspired and take things from different other singers, but it's really important that you find that your own voice, so that when people hear the band or hear you sing, they're like, okay, that's Black Moon June, or that's Deep Purple, or this often how people can pick what band it is when the singer comes in and sing. So I think that's a really important thing.
Absolutely. In our discussion earlier when we were talking about 80s bands,
Yeah.
all them guitarists in the major bands that we discussed, they had their own sound, and that
Yeah.
applies, I think, to every aspect of music. It's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
personal
Yeah.
space.
Yeah. Really. Yeah. Yeah. Same thing with guitarists or anything else. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's those are the kind of musicians and instrumentalists and vocalists that you really love.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So yeah.
And what is the best way to get a physical copy of the album when does come together? And
Yeah.
what's the best way to get a hold of any merchandise from the band?
Yeah. That's a good question as well. I think we have to start a website. Uh, we've been so focused on writing material, so these kind of questions, we're like we stand there like question marks. We were like so now it's very basic. It's like send us a message on Instagram or Facebook, and tell me, hello, I want to buy a t-shirt, my address is this. But I mean, yeah, we had to make it a little more professional. So it's coming up. We have to have a website with where you have like tour dates and shop and everything like that. But as it is now, it's like old school. Just send us the message. We're on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. So,
And if you had to pick your favorite band that you would want to go on the road with, who would it
oh,
be?
that's a good question. Um, hmm. Um, well, that's a good question. Um, it's a hard question because I mean I could say Pantera or Megadeth or Metallica or yeah, Metallica is actually a good choice, but they have a large audience. Or Ghost. Those are Swedes, so we can speak Swedish with them. But it's a hard question. I don't know. I mean, you want to reach a new audience, but you don't want to be you don't want to have rocks or glass bottles thrown at you.
Sure.
So I don't think the Megadeth audience would maybe appreciate us. We're too soft for them, but I don't know. But yeah, and I think also you want to it has to match
Mhm.
uh, the the other band and their style. It's a hard question. But I say Ghost.
And I wanted to ask you as well, in speaking on them terms, do you see the band going in an evolutionary style on the second release, or do you feel that the material that you're currently working on is in the same vein?
Mm. Another good question. If you mean style-wise, like
Yes.
genre. Yeah, it's a good question. I think the people, our listeners, I think they have some of them are reacting to like what genre is Black Moon June? I mean, if we start there, it's not that easy to answer because we I think we have a quite a wide range of
Sure.
styles, but
Absolutely.
but we still want to yet we want to have a like we want you to hear that it's us. But I mean, if you take a song like Under Black Moon Sky compared to Venom, compared to Immortal or Phoenix Rising, it's quite a big variation. So I think I think we will continue to be that kind of band.
Hmm.
Speaking of finding your own thing, because it's quite easy to listen to some people and they say, ah, it's spreading too much. Uh, or another person can say, ah, it's a quite big wide range. I like it. So I
Right.
mean, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? I mean, when bands like Fate No More came on the scene, I mean, what did people think then? They had to be totally confused. So I
Sure.
mean, I think it has a lot to do with when you're a debut band. I mean, our next album, then people know, okay, these guys have a quite wide range.
Hmm.
But then they might not judge us on the same
And not many
parameters.
people can pull off like what, I always bring up it. AC/DC has created a career in doing songs that, are relatively structurally the same,
Mm.
but the nuances that they have in the band make it so appealing because Malcolm Young, in my opinion, was one of the best rhythm guitarists that
Uh,
has ever graced the earth.
uh,
Yeah.
I agree. What an amazing musician or musicians. Yeah, and there you got another example. I mean, they did quite the opposite.
Sure.
They have their trademark sound, and I mean that's a it's a great strength. I mean, talk about branding yourself. It's like, wow, this is this band. You always hear it. So I
Oh yeah.
mean, I just think that I don't know. I don't think that's our path. I think we are like all over the place a little more. But yeah.
And lastly, I wanted to ask you, my friend, if you could give a message to your fans, what would that message be?
Oh wow. Would like to from the bottom of my and all the members' hearts thank you very, very much for uh, finding us and listening to us and expressing your love and appreciation for the band. And well, we're happy if you want to continue sharing our music and telling your hard rocking friends about us. We need all the um, um, exposure we can get. So, but a big thank you.
Well, I wanted to take a moment to thank you, my friend, for creating an album that I truly enjoyed from top to bottom.
Wow.
I look forward to what lies ahead for you and listening to what comes ahead.
Wow. Thank you very, very much. Really
Thank
glad
you,
to hear that.
thank you, my friend, and you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, and I wish you all the best.
All right, take care, my friend.
Okay. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.